Okay, if you'll remember, we talked about in class last week that we would not meet in person this week. So that means you have to do a lot of things on your own. Not a big deal. You got some videos that will walk you through it. And of course, next week when we get back in class, we'll spend some time going over what you're doing by yourselves this week. So let's kind of pull that together and see where we are. All right, so in your modules, week 4 is right here. And so what you're going to do is you're going to get into the revolutionary. Okay, my bad. It never stops. All right, so Franklin, brief introduction to him. He's probably one of the ones we read that you're maybe the most familiar with. At least you know who he is. So we're going to briefly touch on him. You've got some of his most famous quotes here. We're going to talk about those when we get back. And then Crevecoeur, oh my gosh, I love him so much. I promise you we're going to spend some time on him when I get back. So if you don't really understand Letters from an American Farmer, don't get too hung up on it because we are going to spend some time on it next week. That brings us to Thomas Jefferson, another guy that you've studied, read about, heard about, but probably don't really understand. You've got an intro video for him and the Declaration of Independence. Here's a great recording that's several years old. This is the 250th birthday of the Declaration of Independence, so we're going to spend a little time on it and talk about how important it is, some of the key phrases, why this is such a big deal, those kinds of things. You also have a link to an article that explains everybody knows Thomas Jefferson owned slaves, yet his language in the Declaration of Independence is very contrary to that. All men are created equal with certain inalienable rights. So this is a really, really good article. So that's one of the things I want us to be ready to talk about when I get back next week, okay? And then the following week, this is a really quick turnaround for the American Revolution. The following week, we're going to do the crisis, as in the one they talk about in National Treasure, you know, all of those. We're going to do Thomas Paine's The Crisis, and then we're going to read our African literature because they weren't really African American yet because we weren't established. So we're going to read our African colonial literature, I guess. And then we're going to talk a little bit about our research paper, and then boom, the following week we have a test. So this is a really quick turnaround. We don't have a lot of time in this unit, and I'm really sorry I'm not going to be here next week. So quick, power through. This is summer. You got your worksheets. They're hanging on my office door, or you can print them out of this announcement. Either one, whichever one makes you happy. I will be available via email this week. Just hit me up if you need me. A couple of you have, because you forgot we talked about it in class. So if you got questions, let me know. Otherwise, just kind of power through as best you can. If you have questions, let me know and we'll work through them. All right, gang, I will see y'all next week. Enjoy the American Revolution. See you.